Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if, from this moment on, you decided to act with absolute certainty that everything, absolutely everything, was conspiring in your favor? Imagine for a moment that you wake up every morning with unshakable certainty. No matter what happens, no matter how dark the road seems, everything is working to get you exactly where you need to be. This isn't a fancy idea. This is a principle that Napoleon Hill observed in the most successful men of his time, from Andrew Carnegie to Henry Ford. They did not expect proof of a guarantee of success. They acted as if it had already happened. In his tireless study of the mind and success, Hill discovered that your assumptions shape your reality. If you assume something will go wrong, your mind will look for evidence of failure, and your actions will follow that script. However, if you instead choose to assume that everything is moving towards your victory, your focus will change, your decisions will become bolder, and the world will begin to respond to this energy. What would happen if you decided to adopt this way of thinking today? It's not about ignoring obstacles, but about moving through them with the confidence that each step brings you closer to your goal. Let's get back to the heart of Hill's teaching. In his masterpiece, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill emphasized that the subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. He just accepts what you give him with enough conviction. If you make him afraid, he will build a world of limitations. But if you give him faith, if you give him clear instructions that everything is working in your favor, he will begin to filter the world differently. Hill interviewed giants such as Thomas Edison, who underwent thousands of failed experiments before creating the light bulb. Did you know that Edison did not consider these attempts to be failures? Instead, he said, "I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work." This is the mentality of someone who acts as if success is inevitable. Hill saw the same thing in Carnegie, a man who didn't ask, "What if this doesn't work?" But he moved as if the results were already certain. This confidence was not arrogance, it was a disciplined faith, a decision to live as if the future was already written in their favor. So how do you apply this to your life? Hill gave us a powerful tool, auto-suggestion. It's not just repeating nice phrases. It involves programming the mind with clear and emotional commands. Imagine standing in front of the mirror every morning and saying with authority, "I'm fine, I'm not afraid. I act purposefully and confidently." You don't say it as a wish, you say it as a fact. Hill taught that when you speak emotionally, when you feel the words in your chest, your subconscious begins to accept them as truth. And here's the secret. Your subconscious doesn't argue. If you give him consistent orders, he will follow them. Remember when Ford insisted on building an 8-cylinder engine when engineers said it was impossible? He didn't hesitate because he had already decided that the result would be his. You can do the same. You don't need to see the entire path, you just have to act like you've been there before. But be careful, it's not magic. Hill was clear. Faith without action is just a dream. Acting as if everything is working doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for miracles to happen. This means moving with a purpose, even if there is no evidence. This means working harder than others, not because someone asks you to, but because you choose to. Hill called it taking it a step further. Andrew Carnegie, one of Hill's mentors, built his empire not only on his intelligence, but also on his willingness to push boundaries. When he was a young telegraph operator, he didn't just do his job. He learned, volunteered for additional tasks, and became irreplaceable. Thanks to this mentality, he went from working a humble job to becoming the richest man in the world. And you, where can you go a step further today? Maybe it will be an extra hour of skill improvement, or maybe it will be putting in extra effort at work that no one will notice yet. Hill promised that these efforts, even if they do not bring immediate results, will always pay off multiplied. Now let's talk about finality of purpose, another pillar of Hill's philosophy. It's not just about having a goal, it is to have a mission so clear, so urgent, that it becomes the center of your existence. Hill noted that men like Charles M. Schwab, who helped build the steel industry, were not distracted by passing opportunities. They had a specific goal and pursued it with an intensity that kept the world aligned with their vision. Hill challenges you to do the same. Now ask yourself, what is your goal? It's not enough to want success or money. Hill said that your goal must be specific, measurable, and important enough for you to sacrifice everything for it. Write it down. One sentence. For example, I am becoming the best in my field, impacting millions with my work. Read it every morning, every night, until it is engraved on your soul. Hill insisted that without a specific goal, efforts would be scattered like a ship without direction. And here comes another twist. Hill wasn't just talking about personal goals. He talked about aligning your mind with others who share your vision. This is what he called genius, a group of focused minds who empower each other. Imagine surrounding yourself with people who not only support your dreams but also challenge you to be better. Hill saw this in Carnegie, who built his fortune not only through his own efforts, but through a team of people committed to a common goal. But be careful, not everyone qualifies for your mastermind. Hill warned that you should stay away from those who sap your energy, who doubt your dreams and settle for mediocrity. Surround yourself only with those who inspire you to act as if success is inevitable. Ask yourself, who in my life uplifts me? Who's stopping me? And he acts without mercy. Release those who don't fit in and seek out those who make you feel like anything is possible. Let's talk about faith, a topic that Hill found essential. It's not religious faith, but unwavering belief in your vision, even when the world says it's impossible. Hill learned from Edison that faith is built by repetition. You don't expect to feel safe. You create this security by acting, speaking, and thinking as if you were already successful. Every time you decide to act despite fear, you strengthen that faith. Hill recommended visualizing your success in detail. Imagine the moment you achieve your goal, feel the emotion, and experience that reality in your mind. This is not a dream. It is training your subconscious to accept this reality as inevitable. Try it today. Close your eyes and imagine your biggest dream as if it were already a reality. How do you feel? How are you behaving? Bring this energy to every decision you make. We cannot forget the importance of this decision. Hill said that indecision is the poison of success. Greats like Ford and Lincoln did not hesitate when they chose their path. They made quick decisions and stuck to them strongly. How many times have you put off taking action for fear of making a mistake? Hill would tell you, make your decision now, and if you make a mistake, correct course but never stand still. Decision creates identity. Every time you decide to act, you become someone new, so make an important decision today. Maybe it's committing to a daily routine, or maybe it's breaking away from a relationship that's holding you back. Whatever it is, do it with the knowledge that you are burning bridges to your former self. If this video has inspired you, click subscribe now. It's free, and you have no excuse not to join a community that wants to live life to the fullest. The Napoleon Hill way. Go ahead. Show that you are willing to act as if everything was in your favor. Now let's talk about the law of compensation, a principle that Hill believed to be a universal truth. The man who does more than he is paid will soon receive more than he earns. Hill saw this in Carnegie, who from an early age gave more than was expected, and that made him irreplaceable. When he worked in the telegraph office, he didn't just do his job. He learned the system, remembered the routes, and proposed solutions to problems. This extra effort got him noticed by influential people, and thus began his rise. Hill taught that the universe always rewards those who give without expecting immediate reward. It's not about working for recognition. The idea is to become someone so valuable that recognition will come by itself. Ask yourself, where do I only give the minimum? Where can I exceed expectations? Perhaps in your work you can deliver a design with a level of detail that surprises. Or maybe it's your personal life where you can spend extra time strengthening your relationship. Hill promised that every extra effort, even if not noticed immediately, plants a seed that will grow over time. Another powerful concept from Hill is the pleasant personality. It's not about being fake or trying to please everyone, but about cultivating a presence that inspires trust and respect. Hill noted that men like Charles M. Schwab had a unique ability to connect with others. Schwab was not the brightest technically, but his warmth, ability to listen, and genuine interest in people made him a magnetic leader. Hill said a nice personality is a discipline, not a gift. It is based on small habits, a clear and confident tone of voice, a sincere smile, the ability to make others feel appreciated. In a world where many shout to be heard, Hill taught that true power lies in stillness, in a presence that does not have to raise its voice to be heard. Practice this rule today. When you ask a question, really listen. When you give a compliment, do it sincerely. Hill assured that these small actions create a domino effect that changes your relationships and opens doors. Now let's talk about the importance of repetition, a topic that Hill continually emphasized. Your mind is programmed with years of habits and beliefs, many of which are limiting. You won't change them with one moment of inspiration. Hill insisted that transformation requires consistency. Therefore, he recommended auto-suggestion as a daily ritual. Every morning, repeat affirmations that reinforce your new identity. I act confidently. Everything works for me. I am unstoppable. Don't do it mechanically, do it with emotion as if you were already living in this reality. Hill knew that repetition was the key to rewriting the subconscious. Imagine your mind is a garden. Every thought is a seed. If you have doubts about planting, weeds will grow, but if you plant faith, a forest of possibilities will grow. Try to repeat these ideas every day, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Hill promised that over time, your inner voice will change, and what once seemed impossible will become second nature. Another key principle of Hill is imagination. He divided imagination into two types: synthetic, which reorganizes existing ideas, and creative, which generates new ideas. Hill saw Edison as a master of both. When Edison worked on the light bulb, he didn't just combine prior knowledge, he also allowed himself to dream of possibilities that no one else could see. Hill encourages you to use your imagination in the same way. Don't limit yourself to what you already know. Ask yourself, what can I create that doesn't already exist? How to solve the problem in a way that no one has ever tried? Spend time every day imagining your ideal future. Visualize the details, what it feels like, what it looks like, what it sounds like. Hill said that imagination is the workshop where dreams are created, but only when you use it consciously. So today, take a notebook and write down a crazy idea, something that excites you even if it seems impossible. Then take a small step towards it. Hill asserted that imagination combined with action is the bridge between dream and reality. Now let's talk about persistence, a topic that Hill considered non-negotiable. He said, without perseverance there is no success. Place. Hill saw this in Henry Ford, who faced ridicule and failure while developing the car. Investors said it was fantasy, but Ford didn't stop there. He kept going, adapting, learning, insisting. Hill taught that perseverance is not just about hard work. Act with a clear purpose, even when the world tells you to stop. Ask yourself, when was the last time you gave up on something because it was too hard? Hill would tell you, this is where the great separate themselves from the average. Perseverance is a decision, a promise you make to yourself that you will not give up no matter how long the road is. So today, choose a goal you've abandoned and commit to giving it another chance. Hill promised that each persistent step brings you closer to a breakthrough you can't see yet. We also cannot forget the importance of burning desire, the fuel of all achievement according to Hill. He wasn't talking about a passing desire like the desire to buy a new car or a vacation. I talked about a desire so intense that it consumes your thoughts, drags you out of bed, and makes you sacrifice comfort for your eyesight. Hill saw this in Carnegie, who from an early age was burning with the desire to accumulate wealth not because of greed, but because of the impact it could have. This desire drove him to work harder, learn more, and connect with the right people. Hill challenges you to find your burning desire. What do you want so much that you are willing to give your all? Write it down, make it specific. Then, every day, take actions that bring you closer to that desire. Hill assured that burning desire coupled with faith and action cannot be contained. Now let's talk about organized planning, another important principle of Hill. He said success doesn't come by accident, requires a clear and actionable plan. Hill noted that men like Rockefeller not only had goals, they had systems. They built structures so that each step brought them closer to their vision. Hill encourages you to do the same. It's not enough to dream. You need to create a plan with specific steps, deadlines, and measures of progress. For example, if your goal is to start a business, your plan may include researching the market, saving startup capital, and bringing a minimum viable product to market within 6 months. But Hill warned, a plan without action is just a piece of paper. Commit to executing your plan with discipline, adjusting it as needed, but never abandoning it. Ask yourself, do I have a clear plan to achieve my most important goal? If not, take the time to create one today. Hill promised that a well-executed plan is a map that turns dreams into reality. And here comes another powerful concept, the transmutation of sexual energy, a topic that Hill boldly touched on. He believed that sexual energy, properly directed, could become a creative force that ensured success. The point is not to suppress it, but to redirect it to your goals. Hill noted that many great leaders, such as Edison, had the vitality that came from well-directed energy. Instead of spending it on entertainment, they used it to fuel their creativity, passion, and focus. Hill challenges you to practice discipline in this regard. Ask yourself, am I wasting energy on habits that debilitate me, or am I using it to build something big? Commit to harnessing this power in your projects, learning, and development. Hill asserted that this transmutation can give you an advantage that few understand. Now let's talk about the subconscious, the hidden engine of your success, according to Hill. He taught that the subconscious mind is like a faithful gardener. It plants what you give it and makes it grow. If you think about fear, the limitations will increase. If you think about certainty, the possibilities will increase. Hill recommends feeding the subconscious with positive affirmations, visualizations, and strong emotions. For example, before going to bed, imagine that your goal has already been achieved. Feel the emotions of this moment. Hill said the subconscious mind works during sleep, organizing ideas and solutions. Try this tonight. Take 5 minutes to visualize your success in detail. Hill promised that this habit can unlock ideas and possibilities that you don't see when you're stuck in doubt. We also cannot forget the importance of the brain, which Hill considered the command center of your reality. He saw the mind as a station transmitting and receiving thoughts. When you focus intensely on a goal, your mind sends signals out into the universe, attracting the necessary people, resources, and circumstances. Hill wasn't talking about mysticism. He was talking about a rule of thumb. For example, when Ford became obsessed with cars, his mind turned to the engineers, investors, and partners who made it possible. Hill encourages you to train your mind to communicate clarity. Avoid distracting or negative thoughts. Focus on what you want with laser intensity. Ask yourself, what do I communicate to the world with my thoughts? Try to only think about what you want to create. Hill claimed that a well-directed brain is a magnetic force. Now let's talk about the sixth sense, a concept that Hill reserved for the most advanced. He described it as developed intuition, a connection to infinite intelligence that guides you when logic alone is not enough. Hill believed that great leaders like Lincoln made decisions based on a sixth sense, an inner voice that emerged after years of discipline and faith. It's not something that can be forced. It is developed through the practice of all of Hill's principles: purpose, faith, perseverance, imagination. Hill encourages you to listen to that inner voice, especially in moments of doubt. Ask yourself, what is my instinct now? What does my intuition tell me? Trust her, but only if you feed your mind with positive thoughts. Hill promised that the sixth sense can become your most reliable guide. And finally, let's talk about fear, which according to Hill is the biggest obstacle. He identified 6 basic fears: poverty, criticism, illness, loss of love, old age, and death. Hill taught that these fears are simply mental states and as such can be overcome. The key is to replace fear with faith. For example, if you are afraid of poverty, focus on creating value and abundance. If you are afraid of criticism, act with such conviction that other people's opinions will lose their validity. Hill challenges you to face your fears. Write down what you are most afraid of right now. Then write down one action you can take today to challenge it. Hill argued that every time you encounter fear, your faith grows, and your ability to act as if everything is in your favor is strengthened. Let's delve even deeper into the wisdom of Napoleon Hill, because his philosophy is a complete system of mastering your mind and your destiny. One of the least discussed aspects of his teaching is the importance of self-discipline. Hill said that without discipline, all other rules are just words. Discipline is the bridge between your vision and reality. Hill noted that people like Rockefeller not only had great ideas, they were able to perform them consistently, even if they did not involve an immediate reward. Discipline isn't sexy. It doesn't make you feel inspired all the time. Hill, however, taught that this was the basis of freedom. Without it, you are a slave to your impulses, distractions, and the opinions of others. Thanks to it, you are the master of your fate. How to develop self-discipline? Hill recommended starting with small promises to yourself. For example, decide to wake up 30 minutes earlier every day to work on your goal, or commit to reading 10 pages of an inspiring book every night. According to Hill, the key is to keep your promises without making excuses. Every time you apply yourself, you strengthen your willpower. Every time you fail, you weaken it. Hill said that discipline is like a muscle. It strengthens with use but weakens with neglect. So today, choose one small disciplined action and commit to doing it for 30 days. It could be as simple as drinking a glass of water when you wake up, or as ambitious as writing 500 words a day for your project. Hill promised that these small victories add up to create a dynamic that transforms your life. Now let's talk about the importance of gratitude, a principle that Hill considered essential but is often overlooked. He believed that gratitude was not just a feeling, it is a practice that aligns your mind with abundance. Hill observed that great leaders like Carnegie focused not on what they lacked, but on what they had. This attitude kept them focused and optimistic, even in difficult times. Hill encourages you to practice gratitude every day. Every morning, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They can be big, like a new opportunity, or small, like today's sun. Hill said gratitude changes your vibration, causing you to attract more of what you value. Try this now. Think about something you value now. Feel this emotion. Hill asserted that gratitude is a magnet for more blessings. We cannot forget the importance of continuous learning, another pillar of Hill's philosophy. He believed that knowledge only gives power when applied. Hill saw Ford as a man who, although he had no formal education, never stopped learning. Ford read, asked, experimented. Hill challenges you to become an eternal student. Take time every day to learn something new that will get you closer to your goal. It may be a book, a course, or a conversation with someone more experienced. But, Hill cautioned, don't learn by gathering information, learn to act. Ask yourself, what skills do I need to take the next step? Then find a way to get it. Hill promised that continuous learning will keep you current and prepared for any opportunity. Now let's talk about generosity, a principle that Hill believed was the key to lasting success. He taught that true success is not measured only by what you accumulate, but by what you give. Hill saw this in Carnegie, who donated most of his fortune to building libraries and universities. He didn't do it for fame. He did it because he believed that giving multiplies what you receive. Hill encourages you to practice generosity, not only with money but also with time, knowledge, and energy. Share an idea with a friend. Help someone without expecting anything in return. Give a word of encouragement. Hill said, generosity creates a cycle of abundance. Try this today. Take an act of generosity, no matter how small. Hill assured that every act of giving strengthens your character and opens new doors. And finally, let's talk about resilience, the ability to get up after a fall. Hill knew the road to success was paved with failure, but he treated every failure as a lesson. Hill observed that Edison did not give up after thousands of failed attempts. Each of them brought him closer to the solution. Hill challenges you to adopt this mindset. When you encounter failure, don't see it as an end but as a step. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to become better? Hill taught that resilience is not just perseverance. He grows through adversity. Make a commitment that you will not give up, no matter how hard the blow is. Hill promised that resilience is the hallmark of the great. Let us continue to explore the wisdom of Napoleon Hill, because his philosophy is an ocean of knowledge that never runs out. One of the less researched but equally powerful principles is the importance of concentration. Hill taught that the ability to focus your mind on a single task or goal is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. He noted that people like Rockefeller did not engage in thousands of projects. They directed all their energy towards a clear goal. Hill said that concentration is like a ray of light. When diffused, it illuminates dimly, but when concentrated, it can cut through steel. Ask yourself, am I splitting my attention between too many things? Hill challenges you to eliminate distractions. Turn off notifications, limit time on social networks, create a space where you can work without interruptions. Dedicate at least an hour a day to your most important goal, and don't let anything derail you. Hill argued that concentration provides a competitive advantage in a world full of noise. Now let's talk about the importance of humility, a principle that Hill greatly valued. He believed that true success comes with an attitude of service and respect for others. Hill noted that leaders like Lincoln did not seek to dominate others. They combined decisiveness with humility, which inspired self-confidence. Humility, according to Hill, is not a weakness. It's the power of recognizing that there is always more to learn and that no one achieves anything alone. Hill encourages you to practice humility in your interactions. Listen more than you talk. Give credit. To others, admit your mistakes gracefully. Ask yourself, how can I better serve those around me? Hill promised that humility builds strong relationships and positions you as an authentic leader. We must not forget the importance of personal initiative, the principle that Hill saw as the engine of progress. He taught that great men do not wait to be told what to do. They take the initiative, create opportunities, act without permission. Hill saw this in Carnegie, who from an early age sought ways to make himself indispensable, even when no one asked him to. Today, Hill challenges you to take the initiative. Don't wait for your boss to assign you a project. Suggest one. Don't wait for the customer to look for you. Go out and find it. Ask yourself, where can I act now without waiting for instructions? Hill asserted that personal initiative distinguishes those who follow from those who lead. Now let's talk about tolerance, a principle that Hill believed was necessary in a diverse world. He believed that success required working with people with different backgrounds, beliefs, and perspectives. Hill noted that leaders like Schwab can unite diverse teams not by judging but by finding common ground. Hill encourages you to practice tolerance in your relationships. Listen to those who think differently. Seek to understand before you criticize. Find ways to cooperate even with those who disagree with you. Ask yourself, how can I build bridges instead of walls? Hill promised that tolerance expands your influence and opens you to new possibilities. And finally, let's talk about vision, the principle that connects everything else. Hill taught that success begins with a clear vision of what you want to achieve. It's not just a goal. It's a vivid image of your ideal future, so real in your mind that it compels you to take action. Hill saw this in Ford, who imagined a world where everyone could own a car long before it was possible. Hill challenges you to create your own vision. Take time to dream big. What do you want your life to look like in 5, 10, 20 years? Write down this vision in detail and then commit to working every day to achieve it. Hill asserted that clear vision is a beacon that guides you through every storm. As we reach the end of this journey, I want you to feel the fire of Napoleon Hill's wisdom burning within you. Each principle we've explored is a tool for building the life you deserve. You are not a spectator, you are the creator. Go with the confidence that everything is working in your favor. Operate with the discipline of someone who knows that success is inevitable. Speak with the authority of someone who already is who they want to be. And never, ever stop moving towards your vision. Hill would tell you, the world belongs to those who choose to take it. So take your place. The universe is waiting. Acting in faith changes your reality. If this message inspired you, please subscribe for more motivation and comment the word trust if you choose to live believing that everything will work out.